This is your spiritual soul station, AM 1220 KTLV, Midwest City, Oklahoma City.
Views and opinions expressed on this program or the products endorsed on this program are not necessarily those of KTLV Radio.
Good morning, Oklahoma City, and welcome to the Clara Luper Show. In a moment, your host, Sister Clara Luper.
Come on, Jesus. Come on, Jesus. Oh, Lord.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a happy good morning to you wherever you are. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and today's show is being brought to you by Robert Gates of Gates Barbershop, located at 2609A North Martin Luther King. Mr. Gates say it's time for you to get that haircut so you can be looking good for tomorrow, and he will do a job. There's a sign up in the barber shop, and it says, "We make people beautiful. Try it." Congratulations today to the Community Action Agency of Oklahoma City and Oklahoma Canadian Counties, Incorporated. They had a retirement ceremony and honored Pauline Edwards, Roselle Hall, Alberta Harmon, and Annabelle Harmon. That was on Wednesday at 12 o'clock at the Biltmore Hotel in Oklahoma City. It was unbelievable. The people were there. The people were there of all races, creeds, colors, and descriptions. It was a toast led by the executive director of the Community Action Program and the lovely Mrs. Carolyn Edwards. And I always call her Carolyn Edwards. And I would certainly like to congratulate Pauline Edwards, Roselle Hall, Alberta Harmon, and Annabelle Harmon. It was an occasion that we shall always remember. A special hello to all of you out in Radio Land, and certainly I would like to salute you. You are saying to me, "Clara, what's up today?" I'll tell you what's up. Today, what's up? This is a new day, and as one of my friends always say and quote from the Bible, "This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice in it." And we certainly have something to rejoice about. Let us rejoice and let us be happy, and let us use the days that we have in order that we will be happy. One of my favorite characters in American history is Dred Scott. Dred Scott sued for his freedom, and his wife, Freedom Harriet, was wrapped up in that package. And as most of you know, the Supreme Court ruled that Dred Scott was a slave and had no rights in the Supreme Court of the United States. Those of you that are going into St. Louis, I know you will go to the St. Louis Old Courthouse, now operated by the National Park Service, and each day at 2 o'clock they will tell the story of Dred Scott. And they will reenact the trial. And then Dred Scott is buried at the Calvary Cemetery in St. Louis, Missouri. Clara Luper giving you just a bit of history about Dred Scott. Well, it's softball time, and the NACP senior branch is sponsoring the Classic, and you are certainly invited to go to the softball tournament, the 18th, 19th, and 20th. That's the Softball Classic. It's an annual softball fall charity classic, and that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, April the 18th, 19th, and 20th. That's the ASA Softball Hall of Fame Stadium, located at 2801 Northeast 50th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It's Freedom Fiesta time. And during Freedom Fiesta time, we go back and we look over the progress that we have made since that eventful evening, August 19th, 1958. And I want you to get your pencils and paper out because I want you to be informed about this situation. On August 19th, there will be a private dinner by the advisors of the NACP Youth Council. They will get together and have lunch and look over the plans. That's on the 18th. That's on the 19th. That's on Saturday at noon. And then on Sunday, August the 20th, is Doc Williams Day. Doc Williams was certainly an unsung hero of the civil rights movement. And it was Doc Williams that put up bonds in order to get all of us out of jail. That ceremony will be held at 4 o'clock at the Quails United Methodist Church. Mrs. Bosie Walker is the director, and she will call me and tell me who her speaker will be. But on August the 21st, on Monday, it's Attorney John Green's Day. Attorney John Green, an assistant attorney general, the first assistant attorney general for the Western Division. Mrs. Rosetta Coleman is in charge of that day, and she's planning a cake-a-rama. What is a cake-a-rama? I don't know, but I'm sure she will call you and tell you all about it. Last year, there were attorneys that came in. There were people that had been helped by NACP that came in as a special salute to John E. Green. On Tuesday is Cecil L. Williams Day. Cecil L. Williams, known as a black businessman who did so much to find jobs for black people and to register black people to vote. That is known as voters registration time and get out to vote. So many of our people usually register but don't vote. We've got to vote 100% in this election. So Cecil L. Williams Day is a day where we will be taking advantage of the fact that we can vote because we remember how difficult it was to put meaning in the 15th Amendment, how difficult it was for black people to get the right to vote. We remember the Ku Klux Klan. We remember the literacy test. We remember the poll tax, but now we can vote. And on Cecil L. Williams Day, August the 22nd, we will get out and vote. On August the 23rd, it's Sit-Inners Day with Mrs. Gloria Matthews directing. All the sit-inners will come by Freedom Center and they will register. They will make films and they will talk about their experiences during the sit-ins. Mrs. Gloria Matthews is the director of that day, and all of the sit-inners in Oklahoma City, please contact Mrs. Gloria Matthews, not only in Oklahoma City, but throughout this state. On Thursday, August the 24th, it's President's Day. Clara Roth is the president of the NACP Youth Council at all times. But as she celebrates her day, which is President's Day, our minds will go back to other presidents of the NACP Youth Council. And we've had a large number of presidents. The first president was William Miles. The second president was Gwendolyn Fuller. The third president was Barbara Posey. And then Calvin Luper, Marilyn Luper, Linda Poe, Clifford Farrow. Going down the list, there were Christopher Fowler, Shadina Fowler, David Fowler, Thais Ray. Or we could go on down the line. It would be President's Day, and these presidents will be contacting Karis Roth. On Friday, it will be Letty Ruth Hunter, Nancy Davis, and Lillian Oliver's day. Even though Lillian Oliver sleeps in yonder's grave, her memory is all wrapped up in the sit-in movement. She was the one that drove one of the cars downtown on that eventful day. Lillian, Letty Ruth, and Nancy came up with the idea of a fashion show. And this year, the fashion show will be held at Freedom Center at 7 o'clock. But they will wake everybody up with the Freedom Fiesta pancake breakfast. Pancakes with sausage, pancakes with bacon, pancakes with ham. And you are invited to come to Freedom Center, 2609 Martin Luther King Avenue. But on Saturday, August the 26th, by tradition, it will be Clara Luper's Day. And Clara Luper's Day simply means all of the people that participated in the sit-in movement. There was some that marched. There was some that prepared food. There was some that prayed. There was some that answered telephones. There was some that wrote letters, and there was some that continued to make telephone calls. All of these will be wrapped up in one package known as Clara Luper's Day. There will be a parade, and Mr. Nero, Burley, and Nero will be out here today to tell you more about the parade. But I want to tell you what will happen at 6:30 p.m. There will be the annual Clara Luper's Freedom Fiesta dinner. Now, this dinner has had so much meaning to all of us because it is this time that we pause and honor people that have made tremendous contributions to America. You remember last year when we honored the beautiful Audrey Harris, the beautiful Selena Mohammed, the distinguished Bishop Little, that hard-working Anelia Spears, the Honorable Mr. Melvin Richardson, and Mr. Fred Elkins Jr. You remember. You remember the crowd that gathered at the Central Plaza Hotel to honor these people. You remember how the banquet was a complete sellout and we had to add additional tables. But you haven't seen nothing until you see this year. You remember last year Reverend Gilchrist spoke to all of us out of his heart. But this year we are honoring Mr. Clarence Adams, one of our distinguished businessmen. We are honoring Jamal Azee. What Jamal has done is unbelievable. We are honoring Reverend Lasky, whose voice you've heard many times on this radio station, and who has led us into a new dimension of love, hope, and understanding. We are honoring the lovely and talented Mrs. Gloria Matthews, whose personality dawns on all of us, and who has been a pioneer in the field of civil rights. We are honoring Mrs. Elisha House, beautiful young lady that we shall never forget. And we are honoring the Honorable Matthew McDaniel, known as Fluky McDaniel. The speaker for the banquet this year will be a man from the great state of Alabama, Dr., or should I say Bishop Art Al Ladd, who graduated from high school in Mobile, Alabama, who attended the Alabama State Teachers College, who received an honorary doctorate degree from the Pentecostal Bible College at Tuskegee, Alabama, who at an early age was employed by the federal government with a salary that paid more than the high school teachers. But most of all, Bishop Ladd was baptized in the name of Jesus in Fairhope, Alabama. He served as a helper to Pastor Fritz in Alabama. Oh, we could go on. We could tell you more, but we will tell you more next week because many of you know Reverend, our Bishop, our Elder, Dr. Art L. Ladd, who will speak at the Clara Luper's banquet. And I know many of you are saying now, I wouldn't miss this for anything. One of the most talented ministers in America. Clara Luper speaking on behalf of the Freedom Fiesta, which will be in Oklahoma City, celebrating the beginning of the sit-in movement that led to the elimination of segregation in public accommodations. When you think of Clara Luper's Day, I want you to think of Berlin Nero, who is the chairperson of the parade. I want you to think in terms of Rudell Hornbeak, who's a car salesman, who's still selling those cars. He will sell you a car that you will never forget. You cannot forget that that man has been honored as a top salesperson for years, and he's still selling cars. Now, all of you people down in Stroud and Chandler and that part of the country, you know Mr. Hornbeak. Mr. Hornbeak will sell you a car, and you will be on wheels. I don't want you to forget, Mr. Hornbeak is selling cars for Vance Motor Company. Calvin, I know you want to say something about Mr. Hornbeak, who is a transportation chairperson for the NACP Youth Council.
Good morning, Mom. First of all, before I say anything about Master Sergeant, Battalion Master Sergeant, the Master Sergeant of Master Sergeants, because whatever I say about him better be good because he has the power. Even though he's out of the military now, it's still great to see him doing things in a command way. And that's what he's doing with the transportation there at the NACP Youth Council. But most especially, that's what he's doing down there at Vance Motor Company, Guthrie, Oklahoma. Well, actually, you know, with that expressway now, it's really not as far as it used to be. But Brother Hornbeak, keep up the good work. And I, too, am looking forward to the actual being of the Freedom Fiesta. And, Mom, you just read the schedule of events of some of the activities that will be happening, and I'm looking forward to that. But this is a special Saturday morning, and you all know that are regular listeners to the Clara Luper Radio Show what I'm going to say next. That is, sit back, relax, enjoy yourself, and call that friend and call that neighbor and invite them to be a part of this, the Clara Luper Radio Show, on a beautiful and outstandingly attractive, outstandingly fantastic Saturday morning. And we look forward to the reports coming in. And I'd like to thank those of you who called during the week and who stopped me during this week and were really enthused about the radio show last Saturday, in which time that I had a rare opportunity. And a matter of fact, in all the time that we've been on the radio, Mom, it was the first opportunity that I had to interview you, and that was a great show, and the reaction to it has really been something. But I want to let you all know what's on the agenda for this week's show. That is that we're going to open up the lines and give you an opportunity to ask Clara Luper some of those questions that you all have always wanted to ask her. You know, for instance, well, I'm not going to tell you what questions to ask, but any question that you'd like to ask, Mom, don't hesitate to call us here, 672-1220. This part of the program is being brought to you by Merlin Hildred, Allstate Insurance. She's located at 730 West Britain Road. Now, Merlin is there this morning. You know, it's not all Allstate offices, or not all insurance offices are open on Saturday morning, but Merlin does it because she knows that our customers have a special need, even on Saturday mornings, to come in and see about their home insurance, their life insurance, their motorcycle insurance, their boat insurance, their helicopter insurance. But all of that can be done this morning, 730 West Britain Road, or you can call Merlin at 843-0811. Merlin is looking forward to the Freedom Fiesta celebration. So, Mama, let's go back to that. And do you want to do the interview now? Do you want to wait on the questions to come, or do we want to just go along with what the agenda that we've already set? Because I know
But someone
that
is
you got.
calling. They want to know the prices of the tickets. They want to hear Dr. Ladd and see our people that will be honored. And I'm very happy to report that the prices are the same as they were last year and year before last and year before then. They are divided into 3 divisions. There will be the diamond patrons. Those are people that will pay $100. The gold patrons will pay $50, and the bronze will pay $25. Now, what's exciting about this, the NACP Youth Council's Freedom Center has been given a home, and it was given by a beautiful lady in Washington, D.C. And this lady has given this home because she wants to see it used, and it has to be repaired. We need a roof and a lot of other things. And plus, we haven't finished the Black History Monument. You see blanks up there on the wall. We have to finish those, and some of our signs have been blown down. And it will be used as part of the educational and motivational center, and you want to be a part of it. I
Mom,
know
you talk about motivation there at Freedom Center, and I was just realized that I didn't just realize, but I got a better understanding when yesterday I had an opportunity to read about and to know that a big event was going to be happening in Oklahoma City, and that was the Reggae Festival. And I'm so proud of one of our sit-inners and past vice president and treasurer, past person, that if it had been an AXO program back then, that he would have been there, and that's none other than Jeruba Lambeth, who was the headliner and is the headliner down at Bricktown. And Lambeth, Jeruba, has taken his talent and his love of history into an area that heretofore that a lot of black people were kind of ashamed of the fact of that, wow, that drum beat, they would see black people coming and people start beating on the drums. But he's taken it, and I love what he's done, Mom, because they have a program where they're teaching young people about the history of the drum, not only the communication, but the many different meanings that the drums have played in the black history, in all history, in Indian history, and the drums are very important. But I just swore with pride when I realized that, hey, Jeruba's down there leading off the great reggae festival that people across this country and across this world have come to Oklahoma City to be a part of. And I know that too was part of his dream. Way back then when we were asking for a hamburger or a Coca-Cola. So, so we have a lot of reasons, and a lot of different names come to mind, and a lot of different significant accomplishments have been made by those people who made the sacrifices to be in and to be around the sit-in movement. And that's what I love too about the honorees. I was just thinking, at Tinker Air Force Base, they have the statue there of the Riverton woman, and I remember that Mrs. Matthews, back during World War II, was played an very active role in making sure that our servicemen, that our Army and our Air Force, that those ships and that those airplanes were ready to go. Then I got to thinking about the Bishop, Reverend Lasky, and the other honorees. Boy, there's been some significant accomplishments that this year's honorees have made, and looking forward to it. But we have a caller. We have a caller on the line, and I'm sorry to keep you holding like that, but I had to say that because it just kind of swells you with pride when you know that you're honoring people that heretofore, that all during their past have done some great things here in Oklahoma and across this nation. But good morning. Welcome to the Clara Luper Radio Show, the best show on radio. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good
Can
morning.
you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good
Loud
morning
and clear.
to the
Who am I?
Luper Radio Show, and to also my traveling partner.
Oh,
I called in to let you know that I don't want the community out here in Spencer area and Oklahoma City area to forget me on Monday at the John Green's Day at the Cake Arama. Now, Clara wants to know what is a cake-a-rama. You just come on out there and find out and see what this cake-a-rama is all about.
Well, you
will
can't tell.
find any kind of cake that you want.
Oh, okay.
And don't forget these good old pound cakes. You can buy you a lemon pound cake, a coconut pound cake, or a strawberry pound cake, or whatever. You just come on out there and buy you a cake for the week. And I guarantee you, you will not forget that cake if you come on out there and buy one of those cakes on that day. So let's not forget, on Monday at John Green's Day, come on out and buy you a cake for the week.
Okay, John Green's Day, and you will have. You. Who am I talking with first? Let me make sure.
This
I know
is
you.
Rosetta Coleman.
Rosetta Coleman, dynamic advisor, and like you said, Mom's traveling part.
Yes.
I really love to seeing you all over there in Taiwan and in Japan. But we know you're back here, and honestly, Mrs. Coleman,
Yes.
what do you think of them, of the Oklahoma State Legislature passing that bill to rename 23rd Street the Clara Luper Corridor?
Oh, I just think it is just beyond measurable honors to for them to do that for Clara Luper, because she is a lady that's truly deserving of naming this street, this highway after her. And I think it's just unmeasurable.
All right.
It was just highly esteemed to all of us for them to do such a thing for a noted, honorable lady like Clara Luper.
All right. Well, one more question. Do you have a question that you'd like to ask Mom? That everybody gets an opportunity to hear her speak. Now, I know that you've heard her speak many a time, but is there a question that you have that you'd like to ask her? If so, now is the time.
To ask her about speaking?
Any question that you'd like to ask Clara Luper?
Oh, Clara, I would like to know, just deep within, how did you feel when you learned that highway, a portion of that highway was named after you? Just how did you feel?
I felt very humble, and I knew that highway would not only represent Clara Luper, but it would represent all that had participated in the struggle, and all of those that didn't have an opportunity to participate in the struggle. I felt very humble and very grateful that God had allowed me to do it, because as you know, I wanted to name my daughter Clara, but Bert Luper at that time said, no, I'm going to name my own child, and he named her Marilyn. And then when Shelley came, I wanted to name Shelley Clara, and at that time Calvin and Marilyn said, no, I will not. Oh no, we don't want Shelley, we don't want our baby sister to be named Clara. So I went out, and I have a lake in my backyard. I named it Clara Luper's Lake, and then I have lemonades that I'll be selling at the state fair called Clara Luper's Lake. But I never thought of anybody naming a highway, a school, a building, or anything after me. And I felt very humble and very grateful to God.
And Clara, after all of that they did not want Marilyn nor Shelley named after you and everything. Now, you patiently waited. So now you got just what was deserving to you.
Thank you, so very kindly. But there were a lot of people that don't feel like that, because I've had a lot of people to curse me out because somebody's naming a highway after
We'll
me.
talk about that later, Mom.
Okay.
But this is a very special program this morning, and I know that I know that we have a lot to cover, but I know that one of the most important things is the Freedom Fiesta, and sort of to kind of relive and to get our understanding better about the Freedom Fiesta. Can you kind of give a rundown to us the why of the Freedom Fiesta? Why that? I mean, we this is a part of history that by all rights, I think we all should forget that it even happened. It's sort of like some way some people feel about slavery. It didn't really happen, or the way some people feel about the Holocaust. It didn't really happen. So,
But it did.
But
It
why
really
the
happened.
Freedom Fiesta?
Okay, let's go back and let's turn the pages of history back to the beginning of statehood in Oklahoma, where one of the first laws that was passed by the legislature was a law in which permitted segregation. We had segregation in schools, we had it in housing, we had it in public accommodation, we had segregation everywhere because you couldn't, we had water fountains that was reserved for colored. They said colored water fountains. We had restrooms for colored in the downtown Oklahoma City. There were only 2 restrooms that black people could use. We couldn't eat downtown. We couldn't sleep in hotels and motels and what have you. And it was a difficult situation. And many of you out there in radio land remember those days. But when the theme of the 2000 Freedom Fiesta says, wake up, reconnect yourself to the dream. And during these dark days, people dreamed of a better day. Don't ask me, ask Portwood Williams. Ask other people that lived during that period. They dreamed of the day that they could go in any restaurant, any hotel, and do it. And they could not do it. You could be a doctor and have all of the money, but you still black and you couldn't eat downtown. You could be a businessman, you still black. You could have your PhD, you were still black. And structure of participation in the total pattern in America. That's why we should celebrate. And we've got to tell our children that, because there are a lot of people that would like to see us go back, but we used to saying we won't go back. Yes.
Yes, Mom. We do have a caller here on the line that wants to ask a question or make a report. I don't know who it is. But good morning. Welcome to the Clara Luper Radio Show. How are you doing this morning?
Fine.
Good. Who am I talking with?
This is Coco Thomas, a fantastic reporter. As some of you know, the Freedom Fiesta is coming up August 19th through the 26th. Don't miss it. And also, the NAACP Youth Council meetings are every Monday night at 7 o'clock. And I hope to see you there. This is Coco Thomas, your fantastic reporter.
Way to go, Coco. Coco, I have 2 questions to ask you. I know you didn't call in to be questioned, but are you ready for, I know you're ready for the Freedom Fiesta, but are you ready for school to start?
Yes, well, I'm getting there. I don't have everything I need, but I'm getting there, too.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Well, Coco, is there a question that you'd like to ask Clara Luper? Mom, you're #1 advisor there at the Youth Council. But I know you've heard her speak. You've been at the meetings and you've been a part of her presentations and stuff. Is there a question that you would like to ask Mom that you never have before?
Yes. What inspired you to start the sit-in movement?
Once again, Coco, there was a time when a beautiful, intelligent little girl like you could not sit down in a restaurant or a cafe or at a stand and eat. And I wanted to be a part of a movement that would change that. So I was inspired first by being black, and I've told you I'm a blackologist because I lived through being black as a baby, as a toddler, as someone in high school and college and whatever you. And I wanted to change. I wanted to be a part of that change and a part of those people that would work to correct some of the injustices in our society. Thank you.
Right. You know, Mom, to expound on that just a little bit, the presentation of a play that was presented at the Dungy High School back in 1957, 58, played an inspirational role in the sit-in movement, too. Now, kind of tell us a little bit about that play and the participants.
That was a
and
story
what happened,
of,
what that was all about.
That was a story of Martin Luther King Jr. and his nonviolent method. And incidentally, Calvin, this is a week that the Dungy family is having their school reunion.
This
next
week is Dungy
next
reunion?
Week, Dungy,
Next week?
and they are coming in. And it's unbelievable what has happened to those young people at Dungy School. We will see them this week.
Well, we know what happened to the school. There's no longer a school there.
It's no longer, it's a school. And sometimes things can be in your heart. If you don't believe it, you come to the Clarion Hotel this weekend and you will see Dungy in action. I received a call from the Honorable Joe Hill, who is flying in from Saipan and will be here Tuesday morning to begin the celebration. Yesterday, my baby from San Jose, California, Merle, came in for that Anderson family reunion, and they are expecting 300 people.
Are you kidding?
300 Andersons.
300
That's
Andersons.
That's the
Oh,
Thomas
my goodness.
Anderson's family. All of them will be here, and most of them graduated from Dungy School, and they are flying in from all over the country, and they will be here for that big celebration.
Dungy class
And
reunion.
Dungy,
school
I
reunion.
must congratulate Prince Ella Anderson, who retired and had a party that was out of sight. And she's a Dungy graduate. I can talk about Gada Anderson. I can talk about Joyce Henderson, Claudette Goss. I can go on down the line with Desi, and I can go on with the Wondicks, and we have provided leadership. For example, how can you think of Dungy School without thinking of J.L. Jacobs, who's now the pastor of a leading church? We could go on down. But Calvin, I've been getting congratulations, and here's a congratulatory letter from Bill Burkett, who is at the Corporation Commission.
Bill Burkett, Corporation Commissioner.
Let me tell you what he wrote me. He said, "Dear Mrs. Luper, it wasn't necessary to name a street after you for you to be remembered, but it sure was nice. And the best part is that you are around to see how people feel about you. Your monumental service to our city and state is appreciated. It was long overdue. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. Sincerely, Bill Burkett." And from my longtime friend, Hannah Atkins, congratulations on the official designation of the Clara Luper Corridor. I'm happy that it will become a reality. It is a deserved honor, and I hope to be present when the dedication occurs. And I'm sending the newspaper articles to Edmund, and I know he will be happy. But Calvin from Betty Mason, cheers to you. I was so happy to read of the Clara Luper's Corridor. Congratulations. No one deserves such an honor more than you. God bless you, Betty Mason. And I want to tell you about the class.
Do we know yet about the actual ribbon cutting, or will it be a ribbon cutting?
That's Opio
how's that going to be happening?
Territory. I won't discuss that today, but I will tell you that the class of 1951 from Dungy School, Kenneth Payne is the president. They read me. Calvin, I want you to just, they congratulate me. Calvin, help me read these because I want to know what they said about Clara Luper.
This is
the class of 51.
Class of 1951. Now, these are the guys I remember, Dungy, when you were teaching there, and I'd have to come.
Okay, Calvin, read it. I know
I'm thinking how they used to thump me upside the head. I don't know if I want to read this.
You deserved it, probably.
The Dungy class of 1951. Kenneth Payne was president. Congratulations to a great lady. May the corridor rise to such attached significance. Lovingly, Betty Wedgeworth. I'm so very proud of all that you have done for our people and others. Congratulations, Wilma Hale. Thanks for the things you have done, Franklin Cummins. Your accomplishments are now and have been an inspiration to me. Thanks for shouldering the responsibility. I'll drive down your street and remember. Carl Billingsley Simmons. Carol Billingsley Simmons. You go, girl. You know who said that? Theodis Payne. Hello, Clara. I love your spunk. Smile, Ethel Foster. Thanks for the hard work. Love you, Clinton Buck Farrell. That's just a few of them, Mom. But that Dungy class of 51.
Someone gave me a notebook with plastic pages. I'm putting everything in it. And what Mrs. Freddie Stevens said about Clara Luper. Freddie Stevens was so happy she could hardly wait to call me and congratulate me, because Freddie Stevens know that if it had not been for her, I would not be there.
Okay, well, now we know that will be happening on Saturday. The corridor will be officially designated. The big the big parade, Freedom Fiesta Parade, will be the first parade, hopefully the first vehicles to come down the corridor, and that's on Saturday, the last day of the Freedom Fiesta. But back to that Tuesday and that Wednesday, I heard you mention something about voters registration,
Yeah,
and I
we
know
are
that's
urging.
important. And reading those names there, I thought of Miss Wedgeworth, Betty Wedgeworth, and Carol, and how when they were in high school, not only were they, I guess they were good students. I know
Oh,
they
they
could
were.
thump.
What you talking about? Good students.
Well,
Betty Wedgeworth
I
and Carol
wasn't
Simmons were
right.
outstanding. In
Okay.
fact, I don't remember any poor student, but student. Yes, I remember two Dungy that was poor student, but
Who
the
were
rest
they?
of them was
Oh,
great.
you're not gonna
I'm
say
not
their
gonna
name.
say that.
But we know that when they get reach the age of 18, that they registered to vote. Now I don't know why in Dungey they're in a so-called poverty era that the voting that back then that the young people and you teachers pressed everybody into making sure that they registered to vote. But then as a part of the Freedom Fiesta, that activity will be happening. Now how will that happen, and where can they register to vote at during that week of
Well, they
the
can
Freedom
register to
Fiesta?
vote now anyway. Now is the time to register in order that they can vote. Now is the time. And Calvin, the parade this year will be, according to Mr. Hornbeak and Mr. Nero, be the largest one ever. And I know the people from Grayson High School, because how can you have a parade for Clara, Luper, and naming a highway after without Gladys Caddy, Helen Caddy, the Fords, all of those people from Hoffman, Oklahoma are really happy. You know what? My entire class might be here.
Your entire class
My
might
entire
be here
graduating class would be
from
here.
Grayson High School.
Yes, from Grayson High School, all 5 of them will probably
oh
be
my
here
goodness,
at the Won't
that would
be
definitely be
something?
something to see.
We can have a class reunion and everything during that day.
I'm sure
And I know
Rodale will
Gladys,
find maybe he can find a car there, Advanced Motors, where he sells cars. Maybe he can find a car. We can get all 5 of those Grayson High School graduates in one vehicle. But one thing about Grayson, Mom, I have to ask you again: have they gotten a stop sign down there yet?
well, Calvin, they have exactly what they need. The people from Hoffman will be real proud. Can you imagine how the people from Hoffman feel to have a street named after someone that lived in Hoffman, Oklahoma, and was so proud of it? Because we learned we had plenty of nothing, and a lot of you don't have plenty of nothing. We had it down in Hoffman, and we knew how to turn nothing into something. And then from Langston University, how proud my university will be of me. And don't talk about my sorority. The Zeta Phi Beta sorority
No, Mom,
will
what can
be
I
there.
say about
They will
Z5B, as they say?
They will be happy.
Well,
Zeta Phi Beta sorority members will be happy, and they will be there whenever that highway is dedicated. We know, according to Representative Toure, that it will be dedicated at 10 o'clock on August the 26th. Now, if
10
you're
a.m.
at
August
10
the
a.m.
26th, somewhere.
and Representative Toure will let you know exactly where it will be. And thanks to Jesse Orange, who's in the transportation department. Oh, I'm just so happy. But most of the Grayson, the Hoffman, and the people from my own Woods Club and from
I'm looking forward to
Fifth Street and all.
I'm looking forward to not only that, Mom, but the activities on Friday, August the 25th, leading up to Saturday. Now that is definitely a highlight too. Now we can talk about highway, but I love to talk about beauty, and I love beautiful things, and I love seeing beautiful people doing beautiful things. And that Friday, August the 25th, is the Letty Ruth Hunter, the Nancy Davis, and the Lillian Oliver Day. Now that's going to be something.
We cannot talk about that highway unless you talk about my kinfolks. I am president of the BHROS Club, which is the Blows, the Halls, the Hendersons, the Rivers, the Shepherds, and the Overstreet. And on last Thursday night, we all met out to Vivian Woodard's office, which is Rollins Realty Company. And all my kinfolks are so proud of me. My kinfolks are so proud of me, you just couldn't believe
That
it.
is not a one-car situation there, is it?
No, that's not a one-car situation. There were about 50 of them out to Rollins where they were making plans for the family reunion in 2001, which would be in Memphis, Texas. And they all say they are
Memphis,
coming.
Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee, that's
Memphis,
right.
Texas. Is
No,
there a
Memphis,
Texas?
Tennessee, Calvin. And
I
they are
wonder-
all
I wonder
excited
what Memphis,
about it.
Texas has to
They are
offer.
all excited, and if you don't believe they are excited, You just haven't seen anything. Those shepherds, what are you talking about?
Oh, that's
Micah
gonna
shepherds
be.
all smiles talking about, Aunt Clara, I'll be there, I'll be there. And I said, well, okay. Now the big question is, who else will participate in the parade? Let's open it up so we will have something
Well,
to
the
turn
phone
over
number
to
here is
you.
672-1220,
Who will be
and we
with
invite
Clara
your
Luper on
participation.
Clara Luper's Day, which signifies all of you? I know Mr. Hornbeak will be here, and we invite, I have a notation here from Mr. Nero. He's inviting the churches, the clubs, the rodeo clubs, and name all of it. And incidentally, that Clearview Rodeo is going on this week.
Mom, I'm not saying this myself, but I've answered the phone several times, and I've had this question. I'm going to ask you, but this isn't from me. This is from a caller. Of course, they never leave their names when they ask these type questions, but they want to know why in the devil would anyone really want to name a street after you? There are more deserving people. There's the Roscoe Dungies. There's Charles Atkins. There's anybody but Clara Luper. You ain't done nothing but raise devilment here in this city. Now, why? I mean, what would be your answer to that?
I would have no answer to that, Calvin,
Because you
because that
didn't
can
answer
be
this.
answered. No, I can't answer that. I would refer you to Representative Opio Toure and Senator Munson, who recommended that particular bill. So I wouldn't answer that. And if I would answer, everybody criticized me. I wouldn't have time to do anything but answer it.
Well, whoever those people were that call, now you know the answer. You don't have
Yeah.
to call and ask Calvin anymore, or Merlin, or try to reach Shelley to ask that, because you can't make us feel bad, because we're extremely proud of the fact that Mom let the street is
I
being
want
named
to
after
ask you, how do you feel with them naming a street after your mother?
Ooh, that's a different feeling. I'm looking forward to seeing the sign there, and really just knowing it. I've been on Kelly Street, and I've been on Martin Luther King Boulevard.
You don't
And
even know who Mr. Kelly was.
no, I don't. But I've been on Kelly
You know who
Street.
Mr. Bass
It
was?
was named after somebody. But I
Ask
know
Michael
this.
Fulton.
I'll
Ask
know.
Michael
I
Fulton.
know when I drive down the Clara Luper corridor who that is.
You say, yeah,
That's my
Clara.
mom for years to come. So I'm extremely proud, and Merlin too, and Shelley, and all of us, Mr. Wilson.
Shelley
you
and
know.
Mark are in Denton, Texas, where Mark is practicing, but they say they will be here. I talked to Alicia Hildred, who, Alicia Garrett now, who called me last night and said she was so proud they were naming a street after me, and she would be here.
Okay, well,
All
here
my
we go, Mom.
kinfolk
We're
will
running
be here.
short on time here, and we getting ready for the fiesta. We have talked about it. We know that there's a parade. We know that there are activities each and every day. We know that if you're not registered to vote, you can come register at the Freedom Center there on that.
No, not on that day, because it'll be
Really,
election
right
day.
now, actually.
Okay, someone's calling, and I know someone want to call and say they're going to be with me. Are you with me, team? All right.
Good morning. Welcome to the Clara Luper Radio Show. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Fantastic. Now, your question, your statement.
Well, I wanted to commend Mr. Luper on having a street named after her. She deserves it. I was once was able to hear her speak at a church. It was located on Bryant Street, just off Northeast 23rd. And she gave a dynamite speech. And so I wanted to commend her on that. And then I would like to know, what was the first thing you did when you got started on the movement for civil rights, for equal rights?
The first thing I did, I've been preparing myself because I'm an ardent reader, and I studied black history, and I know the problems that black people have faced, and I know the problems that people face that have tried to bring about changes. So I prepared myself mentally for the job. So I knew that I would be spit on, I knew I'd be cursed, I knew I would be segregated against, and so I was prepared for it. Because in preparing myself for it, I knew that future generations would not have to go through with what I had to go through with. And that's what you call happiness. And that's the way I felt. I felt that I was part of something. My father dreamed of a better day. He was not able to even go in a restaurant and sit down and eat before he died. Yet he was a World War I soldier and very proud of it. So I felt good down inside. I've always felt good about myself because I came from Hoffman and Grayson, Well, the people made all of us feel good about ourselves. They told us we were somebody before we heard from Brown or anybody else. We knew we were somebody because we were from Hoffman, we were from Grayson, and we were proud of ourselves.
What did you get experience under someone here in Oklahoma City, or did you start the movement here?
The movement, as I see it, was started a long time ago. It was just a continuation of the movement. See, from the time black people came here in 1619, they dreamed and worked for freedom. So those of you that are living now, you are just a continuation of that fight, and you need it because we still have a long ways to go. Thank you so very kindly for calling.
Well, I have a couple more questions. Can I ask some more? Okay, I want to know where the highway is that you're going to be named after you, and also when the dedication date is.
Well, let me tell part of that, Mom. The highway is northeast. It currently is northeast 23rd from the Broadway extension back east
to the Dowell Bridge.
The Dowell Bridge.
Okay.
So that means that now our state capital is located on the Clara Luper corridor.
Great,
that means
okay.
that our favorite place, Church's Chicken, is now located on the
Popeyes,
Clara Luper.
Popeyes.
Popeyes Chicken is located on Clara Luper's corridor.
The Chronica.
And
we go
Florence's Restaurant, Stale's Restaurant, that is now part of the Clara Luper corridor. Matter of fact, Adams Barbershop is also on there.
And that will be at 10 o'clock on August 26th. And stay tuned for this station and others because Representative Toure will tell you exactly where it will be.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right. Mom, one thing that question brought to mind was even during the sit-ins, you still were a teacher in the public school system. I don't think you were teaching at Dungy then, but what was the reaction from your sister and fellow teachers and from the students that you had to teach? Was it more difficult?
My
during
students
that
were
period?
part of the movement, and many of the teachers were part of the movement. And there were others that were afraid to be part of the movement because they were afraid they would lose their jobs. This part of our program is brought to you by Leo's Barbecue, located at 36 in North Kelly in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. If you need some barbecue, be sure and go down and get you some good old delicious barbecue.
Discount Carpet.
Discount Carpet has
They've moved too.
Yes.
That's 4601, I believe, North Shields Boulevard.
No, Penn, Calvin.
North Penn, 4601 North Penn. Discount Carpet. Still have those great
And
buys.
don't forget Sam's charter service.
Sam West.
Sam Webb.
Sam
Don't
Webb.
forget it. Sam Webb's charter
I wonder
service.
if Sam was here, what would he say now? He say, we'll charter, you will take you anywhere you want to go. And they have some beautiful buses, and he's very easy to work with, and most importantly, they're fast, they're courteous, and the price is right. That's Webb's tour service. Is that what they call it? The Sam's tour service?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, Calvin, well, one thing about it, people won these tickets, and I'm so proud of the fact that each one of these honorees will have a table, and if you would like to sit at the Clarence Adams table, the Fluky McDaniel, be sure and let us know, or Jamal, or Reverend Lasky, or Gloria Matthews. We would like to thank those of you that have called and said you want 8, you want a whole table all by yourself for you and your friends, and we appreciate it. Please call us immediately because we expect a complete sellout.
Did you all come up with did we come up with a solution to those people who didn't have the $25
But there
cash
are
or
other
check
activities,
or
and
money
we are related. Those of you that would like to leave a contribution of a penny or a nickel or a dime, whatever you want, you can leave it at Freedom Center. We aren't there. You can leave it at Gates Barbershop because, we are all volunteers, and we are in and out.
Okay, well, with this week's activities, the Freedom Fiesta activities
That's
going
next
on.
week. But this
That's
week,
next week?
this Friday, I would have the opportunity to speak for the Dungy class reunion. And I am so excited about it. All Dungy, we call them all of our babies. And our babies are growing up. And they are flying in here from all direction.
Well, you
I
better
would
get
like
that
to.
out now,
I'm
'cause
so excited
that
about
Douglas
this.
class reunion Douglas school reunion is coming up. We'll talk a little more about that.
Douglas School. When is Douglas School?
I think it's
reunion?
not this
Well,
week,
you're a
but the next
graduate of
week.
Douglas. You should know.
Oh my goodness, and I don't have all that
Okay,
information.
but you don't have that
in front of me.
information. But I know we'll have
Man, don't shoot
we
me.
will have a class reunion of Grayson. All the Grayson graduates will be here for Clara Luper's Day. That's on August the 26th. August the 26th is Clara Luper's Day, and the Grayson people will be here, the Zetas will be here, my family will be here, the Woods Club will be here, the Amigos Club, headed by Rosetta Coble, will be here, and I want to know what kind of automobile those Amigos Club members will be riding in. Well, I don't know.
At my bronze patron seat there at the dinner.
Oh, that's right. You are sitting in the bronze. You
Well, I'm
finally
just-
decided to buy a $25
Ooh,
ticket.
that's
But
gonna
you will
strain
have
my
them-
budget. But then I'm going to make sure that I know it'll be worth the sacrifice. And I'm wondering about the meal now. With my bronze meal, will I be able to say that I enjoyed my meal, Mom?
Of course you will. But I want to tell you something about this dinner.
is the
This
gold
is a
meal
dress
better?
up. This is a dress up dinner, and I don't
Dress
want
up.
you coming to this dinner looking like you're going
now
to.
I got a laundry bill too. I got dress up with my bronze ticket and come to the Clarion. No, not the Clarion Hotel. To Reno and Martin Luther King, and be a part of the big Clara Luper dinner.
Well, Al Martin.
Shine my shoes and
Al
all that
Martin,
stuff.
who's running for the House of Representatives, just called in, and he wants a whole table for 8 of his friends.
Al wants to be our future state representative district.
He wants a table. Burley and
99.
Nero, I expected him to call. But anyway, maybe he worked too hard last night. Kevin, we do have somebody on the line.
Well, I don't think that's for us because the only thing we have on the line is getting everything together. Is that for us? Of course
Okay.
not.
Of course not. Well, anyway.
Nobody want to ask you a question. They don't
I
mind
appreciate
calling
it.
at 12 or 1 o'clock at night, and then they'll call.
Asking me a question.
Ask a question, but now is your opportunity that you can ask, and the whole world will listen because they are listening here to the Clara Luper Radio Show live and in living color, 1220 on that AM dial. You've called that friend, you've called that neighbor. We know that we've added somewhat to your knowledge, not only of black history, but about the activities that will be happening in our great city and our great state. We want you to participate in these affairs. If you want to, or if you have the withal to, go to the Dungy School reunion. That's going to be exciting. Get ready for the Douglas High School reunion. That's going to be outstanding. Be ready for the Freedom Fiesta, where that will be indeed a definite part of history, a slice of history that you can. There'll be 2 slices of history that you'll be a part of. One was the start of the sit-in movement, and 2, seeing the true fruition of the sit-in movement. And then once again, there's a reggae fest going on tonight.
This is the Clara Luper Radio Show with congratulations to Ron Perry
Hey,
and
Wranglers. Ooh, I'm
and
not
the
as old as
Wranglers.
I was last week. That was a great game. Congratulations, Wranglers. You took that winning spirit from Oklahoma City, took it up there to Connecticut, and whooped it up, and won again last night. We're so extremely proud of you.
Did we talk about Miss Wilma Ray? Have I talked about her the other day? Miss Wilma Ray.
Something good about Wilma Ray, one of those youth council advisors now.
Okay, Wilma
Okay.
Ray and Mrs. Leola Ford have that big salad day. You know, they have a salad festival on C.C.L. Williams Day. And Mrs. Ford took me the other night. She said, I want you all to bring all kinds of salads because her salad day will be a big success. And you can come up there and eat all the salad you want to. And I think that's for $5. You can eat your pancake breakfast for $5. You can, Mrs. Gloria Mathis and the sit-ins, I don't know what they will have. But when you get ready to sit down in your fine, beautiful clothes at the Clara Luper's dinner, you'll be sitting either in a $25 bronze section or a $50 gold section or a $100 section. Call me at 424-3949 and don't call me talking all that stuff. Just
Here we
call
go,
me and
Mom.
tell me
Here we
what you're
go.
going to
'Cause we
do.
run out of time. You ain't nothing but a hound person.
Okay, well, you better sing
I
your
better
song
sing.
for
You ain't
Ken
nothing but a
Germany.
hound person. Elmer Washington, Ken Germany, Carlos Germany, Danny Wilson, and Sister Phyllis. You
Reverend
ain't nothing,
Coleman.
and Reverend Coleman. You ain't nothing but a hound. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. And Elmer and Ken and Carlos and Danny and Phyllis and Reverend Coleman. And may you have many, many more.
This is Clara Luper, and prove that you love me by helping me in celebrating the Clara Luper Day. Celebrating bronze and gold or diamonds. Bye-bye, and I love you.
We'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to the Clara Luper Show. Join Sister Clara Luper here each and every Saturday from 9 until 10 at your #1 gospel station, KTL.